Alright, so here's the situation. I done pulled this whole thing apart, right? And I took these loose, and then the cabin air filter is supposed to be the cabin air filter is supposed to be in here. Supposed to be in here. And there's none. There's no filter at all. So whoever worked on this car before must have took the filter out. And I don't know why they didn't put another one back in. But here I got a brand new cabin air filter. But I really want to know, why isn't there an air filter in this car? So that's telling me I've been driving for months and months and months with no cabin air filter in this car, not knowing. I'm glad I did just rip this apart. It says, I took this apart. There's no cabin air filter in here. There's supposed to be an air filter in here, but I opened it up so I could see if it was dirty or not, and there's none in there.
I was turning the box. It's ain't the box. You just bought it.
No, the cabin air filter for the car.
There probably was wrong with you. I figured it out.
So I'm putting the new one in now. It says airflow down, so the arrow's pointing down. So the air filter, when I took all of that apart, yeah, there was no air filter. There was no cabin air filter in my PT Cruiser. And this is my closing video, but there was no cabin air filter in there. I took it apart, looked in it, like I said, and nothing. So I'm like, so how long have this vehicle been running like this without no cabin air filter? That's the questions I'm asking. And then on top of that, I keep hearing this noise when I'm driving. It's like a boom, 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 boom. Come to find out, it may be my lower control arm. It's either my lower control arm or it's the suspension, because there's this thing that's pressing down, like it's pressing down on my tire, and you could feel the difference. I ain't got the car with me, it's at the shop, but when you go to the driver's side and stick your hands in between the fender and the tire, there's a little bit more clearance, you know what I'm saying? Like you can touch the springs a little bit better. When you go to the passenger side and then you stick your hands in between the fender and the tire, then boom, 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 there's like, this metal shield or something. I don't know the exact name of it, but it's a part of the suspension. So that little metal cuffling, whatever you want to call it, that thing is literally, you can't get your hands, you can't even get your pinky finger in between there. It's like right on the tires, like pressing on a tire. So that is the noise that I'm hearing when I'm driving, because I'm like, I turn to the left and then I don't hear the noise. It gets quiet. So that means when I'm turning to the left, the tire is coming off of that metal piece and is doing fine. And as soon as I send to the steering wheel, the tire is back on, rubbing back on that metal piece. And then when I turn to the right, it's still rubbing on that metal piece, or rubbing on that metal piece even more. So that was the noise that I was hearing. I figured it out. So it's either the lower control arm or the whole entire suspension gotta change. Either or, so one of those. So I took it to the shop, and for the cabin air filter, I did put the new one in, and like I said, I changed the AC switch, charged up the AC line, the compressor's working fine, and cool air still wasn't coming in. It would come in for a short while, and then it would stop, and then come in and stop, and it's not. So I'm like, so whoever worked on this car last, before I got it, they took that filter out, and I guess they never put a new one back in, or anything back in. You know what I'm saying? They just left it empty, like, really? So anyway, I'm gonna holla at y'all. Just giving y'all that update, alright? Alright.